This first question looks a little bit like the second question. This one's asking us for the zeros of this function. And then the other question is asking us for the sum.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the zeros, that might be a word that some math students are like, I don't really feel good about that. But what is a sum?
Answer.
It's an answer of when you do like what, subtraction or multiplication or...
Is it an addition?
It's an addition, right? A sum is just adding two things together. Probably an easier place to start, so I'm going to scroll over to that here. We've got the term 5x squared plus 3x minus 7 plus, or the sum of, the next function, which is 12x plus 12. So this right here looks just like what's written on your paper,
Mm-hmm.
more or less, right? I just replaced a plus sign with the word sum of.
Mm-hmm.
Do you notice, obviously if we were doing this problem, if I covered the 12x, all the x's, and we just had negative 7 plus 12. If you're in debt $7 and then you make $12, how much money do you have when it's all said and done? $5, right? So you know how to add whole numbers together, right? Even with negatives, which can sometimes be tricky. Essentially, that's what we're doing. In fact, check this out. I'm going to use the power of my iPad here. And I'm not going to change the problem whatsoever. I'm just going to move it around to stack it on top of each other. Okay, there we go. And then I accidentally took some of my equal sign, but that's okay. I'll just erase that. All right. So now I have the same exact problem written down. And the trick that you taught me, I'm not going to forget about it. Look at that. All right. So negative 7 and 12, what did we just say that equals? 5. Okay, cool. So we got that. Positive 5 or negative 5?
Positive.
Sure. You kind of came out of debt. Okay, look at this. You were in debt, and then you came out of it and actually came out on top. I like this little laser tool. Same exact idea here. Just know that when you add these two numbers together, they're going to include an x.
So 15.
15x, right? An x could be anything. It could be a number, or it could be representing some object or some measurement. But we know that it's the same x here as it is here.
Mm-hmm.
So when you add 3 of these x's to 12 more of the same x's, you're going to end up with 15 x's, right? And if x's were cat faces, you'd end up with 15 cat faces instead, right? It's just, we're choosing to use x because mathematicians are boring and non-creative and whatever. All right, and then here's one more. In fact, let me do this really quick. I'm just going to expand this out so it looks just exactly like the top one, and I'm just going to add 0x squared.
So 5x squared.
It's still just 5x squared, right? And just to be sure, was this 15 before, or was that positive or negative?
Positive.
Yeah, it was positive. And the 5 is also positive. Do we need to write a plus sign out in the very front of everything? That's just assumed. Voila. Sylvia, you did it.
A.
Right? Yeah, and I guess we can translate that to some answer they give us. But if it was a fill in the answer, you still would have gotten it. Right, right?